slide one. Nah, I had no idea that this was gonna be here. I would have gotten some stuff. It would have probably just been like pictures of me and my cat, but just some ground rules or whatever. This isn't a TED talk. You know what I mean? I want you guys to feel comfortable. I want it to be more of a communal thing. If you have questions about what I'm saying, please feel free to speak. If you're hungry, please continue to eat. That's banging. I wish I thought about eating beforehand, but I did not. My man in the back, shout out to Jimmy, he is filming, so just so you're aware, the back of your heads will probably appear on a YouTube video. If you're not supposed to be here, if you lied to a girlfriend or something, so you were somewhere you're not, you're gonna get caught, so that's just a heads up. But yeah, like you said, my name is Reef, Cauze. I'm an independent hip hop artist from Philly. I'm 35, about to be 36, which means I'm old as dirt compared to a lot of you. I could be some of your fathers. I know I'm not, though. I checked. I definitely am not. But yeah, like he said, I've been touring, doing music for 15 years now. Some nights I'm in Europe rocking at festivals for 30,000 people. Sometimes I'm in Fishtown in Philly rocking for 30. It doesn't really matter because music is my love, it's my passion, and I am like many other artists. Most of the people that you see on TV, that have 1 million Instagram followers and stuff, they're the rarity. Most of us are hardworking, underground, independent, doing their own thing, and I feel like for any dream that you follow, if you're able to make a living or at least get by doing what you love, then you've succeeded. And that's something that I think a lot of us don't understand. There's so much pressure to be, millionaires and rich and famous in our fields. But if you find happiness doing what you love and you're able to make a little bit out of it, then I would say keep pushing that. So, today's talk, Hip Hop Runs on America. Fun fact. That was just a title me and Mickey came up with. I have no idea what I'm about to talk about because I like to freestyle. Check it. Look, I'm not gonna do that. But I do find it very interesting that we are in a time, especially now, where the music of this generation, of this culture, is going to be more impactful and more important now than ever. I don't mean to offend anyone's beliefs or anything like that, so if I do, I'm sorry, but we basically have a psycho running the show right now. And if you're like me, you wake up every day kind of terrified and afraid of what's gonna happen next. And last night, I don't know if any of you saw it, but the first strike was thrown at the president. Did any of you see? Do you know what I'm talking about? Eminem, never wanted to bite his tongue, went on a 5-minute rant on the BET Hip Hop Awards. I guess it was a rap. I don't really know what he was doing. I'm not really feeling the patchy beard either, but that's him. He can do his thing. He basically lobbied what is, I'm sure, to be the first strike in a long winter of resistance. When I say resistance, I mean fighting back against repressive forces. And that is what hip hop music has done since the beginning. Now, I'm an older dude. I'm not gonna get up here and be one of these guys that are, gonna tell you how fucking Migos is ruining the culture or something like that. I don't believe in that. I love it all. It's necessary for all. But I do feel that the artists that you're seeing that are about to start getting more and more pushed to the forefront, the Kendricks, the J. Coles, the Joey Badasses, the reason why that these artists are gonna be so important for your ears and your understanding for the future to come is because they're speaking out about the real life issues and the real things that we feel. And I think that is the most important thing that hip hop can offer to society. It's the most important thing that hip hop can offer to our kids and for our future. What's most important to me about what we have come to know as hip hop culture is the fact that it saved so many lives. And I don't just mean from people who are able to make a living off of it. I mean the education that is brought forth for a lot of people. There's so much that we've all learned just from listening to rap songs and different things that we may not have known before. Now, this isn't to take away from, I love rock music, indie rock, pop, all that stuff's important, but there's nothing that seems to resonate, especially with youth culture, like hip hop music. Obviously the beat, when you first hear that, we are naturally inclined to the drum, especially people of color. We're naturally inclined to the drum. We're naturally inclined to the bass, to the rhythm, to the piano that you hear. So when that starts, the words that flow and follow, they often motivate, they often inspire, they often help people want to create and often want to be a part of that movement. And I feel like right now we're at a time where that is going to be the difference between the lost and the found. That's going to be the difference between the people who really understand what's going on out here, that really want to make change, that really want to make a difference, and those that don't. And it's important that you, who are all young people, just starting your lives, just starting to get educated, just starting to make your way in the world, when you present yourself, when you get out there and you start meeting people that have these ideals, that because you come from a certain background, because you look a certain way, because your hair has a certain texture, that you are somehow not as educated, or you're not as intelligent, or you're not as powerful, or you're not as human, or you don't have as much empathy, or you don't have families or kids, or, well, I hope none of y'all got kids. It's all right if you do. I got 2 of them. They're pretty bad. I'm pretty happy to not be with them right now. I like me and Charlotte much more right now. But you need to understand that these are things that are going to happen almost every single day of your life. You're going to be judged, and you're going to be mistreated. And if you don't have the strength, the power, the understanding to not let those people bring you down, to not let those people stop you from your goals and your missions, then you're never going to make it. And for me, hip hop is what did that. I come from West Philly, 60th Street, born and raised, drugs, poverty, crime, absent father, you know, the stereotypical bullshit that you all hear about. What I chose, instead of what so many of my friends did, the streets, the corners, I chose to educate myself. I chose to empower myself. And the one thing that helped me do that, first and foremost, was hip hop music. I started off listening to the likes of, and I'm gonna give you some names now that if you're not familiar with, I definitely think you should check out. I started off with the likes of Public Enemy, Chuck D, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Cool G Rap, some brothers that are right up from Trenton, Poor Righteous Teachers, Brand Nubian. All these guys told me something that I wasn't being told by anybody else. And that I was strong, that I was beautiful, and that I could make a difference. A lot of us, we came from places where they wouldn't hear us, they wouldn't listen to us. And hip hop changed that forever. It kicked down that door. It let people know that we were here and that we weren't just some dummies on the corner, that we understood what was happening in the world, that we knew about world affairs, that we knew about the crack era and why it was placed in our communities. We knew about why certain things like guns and alcohol were so readily available. It's because it was technology. It was something that was supposed to happen to us to keep us from prospering in life. And if not for hip hop music, I would have never learned about those things. Now, obviously, books, films, and obviously mentors and different people, my uncles and things like that, they were in my life and they taught me those things, but they didn't have the same impact as a beat and a lyric that really stuck with me forever. And I think the reason why that is because, you know, naturally we're musical people, man. I think it seeps into your brain way, way, way easier than anything else. Me talking to y'all right now, I mean, I would hope some of it stays with you, but I guarantee you, if this was more of a show, if you hearing music, it sticks with you a little bit more. I feel like that's because the vibe of it, the flow of it, how it makes you feel, how it makes you respond. It's nothing like it on this planet. For instance, how many of y'all like going to shows? Now, have you ever been to a show where somebody was absolutely terrible? You haven't? Because I've been to a lot. I just went to one like last night. When someone's absolutely terrible on the mic, and they're absolutely terrible performer, they don't have stage presence, they don't have flow, they don't have character, what happens? You forget them. You don't remember them. Or you laugh about them with your friends. But when somebody brings that energy, brings that power, and they kill it, that can stick for you forever. I know I've seen people that a lot of you may have never heard of, but their energy, what they brought to the stage, how they made me feel, I wake up some days and I want to give that same feeling to people because of what I saw. So that inspiration is what's most important to me, I think. You know what I'm saying? The inspiration that we as artists, we as individuals, we as like-minded people that are trying to bring positivity to the world, trying to bring information to the world, those are the things that are going to stick with us. So that's why I say hip hop runs on America. If you notice, I've been all over, but one thing what's that?
You brought it back to the title.
Yeah, I did. You like that? I did, because me and Mickey came up with that. I want to make sure, you know what I mean, I stick to the plan. One thing that I've noticed in my travels, and I've been all over, is that there's no culture, there's no essence, no vibe that carries over as powerfully as hip hop culture. I'm talking about kids that live in little towns in France or little villages in Spain, and they got the dreads rocking. You know what I'm saying? They got their Timbs on, or they got their Nike Airs or their Jordans. They got their fresh gear on, they got their headphones on, and the way they move, the way they talk, the way they vibe is all from our culture. And the reason why is because it resonates like no other. It is the talk of the streets. It is what we have grown up on. This is our rock and roll, so to speak. I don't take anything away from that. That's why I always try to specify. I love rock music, I love all that, but you cannot tell me that there is a more dominant culture than the hip hop culture because of what it does for people and how it brings people together and also how it has awakened people. So don't ever let anybody tell you that it's just trash street music. It's definitely not. There are a lot of people doing wonderful things. They're using their platforms to help. I don't know if some of you saw this, but a lot of the artists that would be considered hip hop artists are doing a lot for Houston right now, doing the hurricanes. They're doing a lot of things for Puerto Rico, and they're doing a lot of things for their own community. And I don't think that gets enough light. We have so much negativity flashed on us because of so-called gangster rap and all that other type stuff. But my question to you is, how many people are just one thing? How many people are just a scholar or just a tough guy? We all have different sides to us, and I feel like in hip hop culture, they focus so much on one side of it, but don't show love to the other. You need the ratchet shit. You need the turn up shit. And you also need the smart, intelligent shit. And you gotta meet somewhere in the middle. I don't know about y'all, but I can go from bad and bougie to damn. You know what I'm saying? In one false swoop. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I also like to listen to a lot of soft music while I have some wine and take a walk on the beach. I enjoy that, you know what I mean? Some jazz, you know what I'm saying? Some jazz flute and all that. But for me, so much of my identity has been brought up in hip hop music and hip hop culture. It's how I feed my family. It's how I'm able to stand here and speak to y'all. It's how a lot of my relationships and friendships have been bonded, and it means the world to me that so many people have gotten to know me personally as a man and as a human being through things like social media and outside of my music, but that's the foundation. You need a foundation for everything you do in life. You can go left, you can go right, but you always need to come home and find a foundation. So whatever you're studying, whatever you end up doing in life, I started going to school for film. And I was just talking to Mickey. I haven't messed with that stuff in 10, 15 years. And now I'm actually just now starting to get back into that. So it always comes full circle. And everyone you see on the way up, you will see on the way down, you will see in the middle. So you should treat everybody with love and respect and know that you're not above anything else. Give everyone the time of day. Show everybody respect. Show everybody love. If you can't do that, can I curse?
Sure.
You're fucked. You're fucked. So, like I was saying before, we are in a very, 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 very volatile time in this country. I don't know, man. It feels like you can feel the tension. You can feel it rising. You can feel a lot more hate. You can feel a lot more division. And in that time, I want everybody to use whatever platform you have whatever word of mouth, your physical presence, your presence online, your presence here at this school, I want you to use that to combat it. I want you to use that to try to make a difference, because we need it more than ever. Y'all will be the bottom line and the difference between if this shit falls off the rails or if we keep moving. If we keep moving ahead and not back. Right now, it feels like we're moving back. Like way, way back. Like to the time where like people had dogs sicked on them and hoses sprayed in their faces. And I have 2 young kids. You know, I have a 7-year-old who is autistic. He can't speak. He's nonverbal. He speaks with his hands. He speaks with hugs. When you tell him you love him, he responds with a kiss. Which honestly, even if he ever does speak, I hope that never stops. But I'm terrified because what if he's walking home one night and he gets stopped and he doesn't know how to explain where he's going or who he is? He could die. I could die. And I can talk. Obviously, I haven't shut the fuck up since I got here. I can talk my way out of pretty much anything. I'm a rapper. You know what I'm saying? It's what we do. But the fact that we have to live in fear, the fact that we have to live in this world right now, it's not the way it should be. And the one thing that gives me hope, like I said before, is you're seeing so much art coming from this pain. Obviously, you see it in TVs and movies and things like that, and books, and in the scholar world. But I'm seeing it a little bit more and more, and it's going to continue to happen with hip hop, because we are the first and last defense. Don't believe me? Take a look at history in itself. In the 80s, during the crack Reagan era, we had groups like Public Enemy that spoke out and screamed in rage about how we were feeling in these streets. During the 90s, we had groups like NWA and Ice Cube who spoke to the absolute pain of the youth. Now we have guys that are doing that, and y'all need to support that. Obviously, like I said before, you like what you like. We all like to, you know, enjoy ourselves and listen to some fun shit. Actually, Jimmy doesn't. The camera guy, you hate all that stuff. That's all right though. That's all right though. But it's important to support that stuff, because the more the companies and record people, I feel weird standing up here. The more the record companies, the more the people that are the powers that be, the gatekeepers, y'all honestly may not understand this, but y'all have all the power with that stuff. They go by what you like. They determine what they're gonna put out in front by what people your age, people in your demographic, people in your world, what y'all decide is hot, what y'all decide is dope. And if y'all decide right now that song's about how we're not gonna take this bullshit, how you're not gonna keep killing us, how you're not gonna run us out of this country, how you're not gonna have people that have been here since they were 17 or 7 years old be kicked out because they don't have the right fucking paperwork. If you take that stance, they'll listen. They'll have to. Because y'all are in control whether you know it or not. The youth right now, y'all are so open, y'all are so awake, y'all are so aware, y'all are way, way, way more advanced than I ever was or any of my friends when we were y'all age. We didn't understand what was happening out there like that. The only way we did know what was going on was through the music. Now you have social media, now you have the whole world in your pocket and in your phone. And just like the artists that are taking these risks, just like these athletes, just like these people in power that are opening their mouth and taking risks to speak out against everything that's happening out here, y'all gotta join that fight. Y'all gotta get out there and get to it too. Because if it doesn't affect you directly, most times we don't react. You see people getting killed, you see people dying. If it doesn't affect you, you didn't know them. It happens. People get killed, people die. Nah, that was your brother. That was your sister. Next it'll be you. And when it happens to you, you're gonna want somebody to cry for you. You're gonna want somebody to stand up and fight for you. You're gonna want somebody to speak out. And if we don't do that for each other now, before we know it, it's gonna be too late. Now, I know this was supposed to be some old rap talk, but I don't get to talk to a lot of people y'all age like that. Most of the time, when they see me walking down the street, they cross, or they're like, I'm not gonna talk to this guy. He's like 40. He's like my dad. Why is he trying to talk to me right now? Especially, I see a lot of young ladies. You don't want the creepy 35-year-old guy with the beard walking up to you like, excuse me, let me talk to you about revolution. You know what I'm saying? That's not, you know what I mean? So I'm using this opportunity right now to do what I do with my music, to do what I do when I have shows and things like that, to talk to y'all directly as a man, as a father, as a black man, as a black father, as an MC that cares. I don't want to see this world left behind when I'm gone, because I will go way before y'all, the way that it seems to be shaping up right now. It seems to be shaping up that we are in a world of trouble. And no one's going to be able to stop it, and no one's going to be able to change it unless we all band together. And it starts with the kids. It starts with the youth. So to bring back to my original point, if you see something out there that has the voice, the message, the art behind it, that's inspiring that, get behind it. Push it forward. Because understand that it's going to be vital for you to use your voice in this time. How many of y'all actually write poetry or rap? Raise your hand. Don't be ashamed. Nice. Okay. Did you raise your hand?
Yeah, we're in like a writing class.
I like that. That was cool. Yeah, well, look, a writing class, that's art. That's using your words. That's expressing yourself. Take the time to understand that the more you express, you're and some of you may not agree with me. Some of you may think everything is fine and I'm tripping. No, you should go ahead like hell no. All right, good. I'm glad it's not just me. For those of you who do agree with me though, you need to understand that, like I said before, there's nothing more important than your voice, especially right now. And yeah, I don't know. I love y'all, man. Like you guys are gonna be taking care of people like me, man. You know what I'm saying? When I'm in a wheelchair and shit, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be you guys that are doing it. So, yeah. But what did y'all think of the BET Awards? I find it very interesting because this was gonna happen to you at some point. You're gonna know what's hip. You're gonna know what's cool. You're gonna know what's, you know. They don't say fly no more, do they? Do y'all still say fly? Fuck. When that go out, dope? Yeah? Alright. Y'all gonna know what's fly and fresh and dope. And then one day, I'm telling you, you laughing, one day, you gonna wake up and you ain't gonna know who half these people are. So enjoy it now, because hip hop is youth culture. It's always been youth culture. And I speak from the perspective of an old head, an OG, if you will. Don't let anybody my age ever try to tell you what you are supposed to like, because in all fairness and all righteousness, we are not supposed to like what you like. It's supposed to be a disconnect, okay? My mom was the rarity. She liked some of the stuff that I liked growing up, but she still would prefer, you know, her LL Cool J and her, you know, Kid and Play, which is Heavy D and all that. Basically dudes that danced a lot. She liked guys that danced. And she's a mom, I get that, you know what I'm saying? But don't ever let somebody tell you, not even someone that's older, anyone your age, like what you like, support what you support, but don't let anybody, my age especially, tell you what's supposed to be dope or fresh or fly. I know a lot of y'all have probably gotten in arguments online with some crusty, angry old guy that's trying to tell you that, you know what I'm saying, if a motherfucker don't have on Tim's and an army fatigue jacket, that it's not the flyest shit in the world. This is your time. This is your time. This is your culture. And you will steer it the way that you want. And again, all I can ask is that you try to throw a little bit of that positivity in there. You know what I'm saying? But we all need all the elements of hip hop, which is the conscious stuff. We need the party music. We need the party music more than ever right now. You know what I'm saying? We need the party music. We need the conscious music. We need that grimy, dirty shit for when you know what I'm saying? One of your professors gave you a C on a test, you deserve a B. You know, you might want to kill him, but you're not going to. But you'll listen to some music. you'll listen to some music about killing people, and then you feel a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? So again, make sure you keep your mind open, you keep your eyes open, you keep your heart open, and understand that this is your culture, and it's gonna go the way that you want it, and the world's gonna go the way that you want it. And just looking out at your faces, you know, I see people that, you know, y'all understand that. I think y'all understand that, and it goes fast. It really goes fast. Like, I was your age once, and I felt like I was your age yesterday, and I woke up one day and I was much older, much wiser. I've been around, I've seen a lot. And my only wish for y'all, my only want for y'all, is to just have it better than we did. And up until now, I thought that was a given. I thought that was just something that happened. My grandparents didn't have it as good as my parents. I had it better than my parents, and I thought my kids would have it better than me. And I honestly can't say that that's the case now. I don't know if that's going to be the case. So my only wish for y'all is that y'all make sure that happens. And that's pretty much all I got. Thank you for your time. If anyone wants to ask me some questions, I got plenty of time to talk.
You know, we got all kinds of time for Q&A. I know that the hip hop class has some questions. Dustin,
Sure.
jump on
Yes.
that.
Okay, so clearly you're very passionate about hip hop and the culture and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff. Is there anything about the culture that you don't appreciate or you don't like the direction that it's going?
I would say the music is love, the business is painful. The business aspect of it. I think when you allow anything to get into, when art and commerce go head to head, it's a challenge between your heart and your brain. There have been so many times where, you know, the light bill was due and there wasn't a lot of food in the fridge. And I thought to myself, why am I still trying to create stuff from the heart when I could easily just try to go and make a hit, so to speak? That's the stuff that keeps you up at night. Is just wondering if you're doing the right thing by sticking true to yourself. So I would say the music part, the art, the creating, what I'm seeing from different artists, especially now because of things like SoundCloud and Bandcamp and things like that, y'all have taken the reins. You don't need the middlemen anymore. That part really inspires me. I think the old way of dealing with record labels and managers and snakes and people that just want to claw at you, they don't have the talent, so they just try to put their hands in your pocket. That's the stuff that breaks my heart. Other than that, I think it's a great time for hip hop music. I think you have so many different styles, you have so many different artists and elements, and I think the barriers of where someone's from, that was a big thing when I was coming up. You were an East Coast guy, you were a Southern guy, you were a West Coast guy. All that's out the window now. And again, it's an attest to your generation for being a lot more open-minded to that type of stuff. It doesn't matter if it's dope, it's dope. So yeah, so that's about it. Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. See? Nobody? Anybody?
Oh, here we go.
I just wanted to comment before I ask my question.
Sure.
I appreciate like the line of conversation because we don't typically, those conversations are avoided.
Yeah.
Especially in like academic settings.
Nah, not over here. No,
yeah,
not over
so I
there.
appreciate that, and I like the class. I made that comment in class too because we talk about like social
Right,
issues that
right.
are typically avoided.
For
But
sure.
my question was, how did you come about like with your name? Like, what gave you your name?
Well, Reef is short for Sharif. My mom gave me that name. I like to say that it was named after, so she looked in an Afrocentric book, and that's what she went with, which I rock with. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to a lot of young black men born in the '80s. Their parents got woke all of a sudden and started looking in books. So that's why you have a lot of like Rashids and Shafiqs, and I was Sharif. The Lost Cause came about again, full circle, to my mom. I was y'all age. I was at University of the Arts where I was studying film. And I lost my scholarship, which is a very real thing that happens to a lot of people. I'm sure some of your friends. If you don't keep that GPA, they take it, and they will take it. Don't mess around with that. They'll snatch it. So they took my scholarship. So I'm 19, 20 years old. Supposed to be going to school, supposed to be making my family proud, and instead I was kicked out, pretty much homeless. And I was trying to do this music thing. And she looked at me one day I think I was like, it was like watching Judge Judy or something, high on my mind, like eating Cocoa Puffs. It was a sad sight, dude. I mean, it's not that much different from my life now, except it's in my house, you know what I'm saying? It's my own house. But she looked at me and she said, you're a lost cause. And at first I took it like as an insult, but then I like flipped it and I was like, you know what? It gave me an idea of an individual that has nothing to lose. And it was at that point in my life that I literally was a lost cause. I had nothing to lose. So instead of taking it as an insult, I took it as a badge of honor. And since then, I've taken the idea of a lost cause. A lost cause is someone that still cares about what he's saying. A lost cause is someone that still loves his neighbor. A lost cause is someone that believes the world can change and all that hippie shit. That's a lost cause now. So I welcome being a lost cause. You know what I'm saying? And it was also to be like, yeah, mom, I'm a lost cause. Like, yeah, look at me now. She'll still tell you I ain't shit, but that's what I'm Anybody else?
Jordan.
What's up?
Yeah, during your come up, did you always want to be independent? Did you like have meetings with companies?
Oh, hell no, hell no. Anybody that tells you that they, shout out my brother Chief Camachi right here, man. That's one of the Philly legend right there. That's my brother. He'll tell you too. Anybody that tries to tell you that they, I always wanted to be on my own. Nah, hell no, man. Everybody, especially from my era, man, growing up, we read The Source and Double XL. We wanted to be signed to, Def Jam and, Bad Boy, whoever. So it wasn't until I realized that if I wanted to make a living and I wanted to get my music actually out there, you have to go with where you're wanted. And where I was wanted at was the underground independent scene. And I scoffed at it at first until I found out that there were people that were making more money than people signed on major labels because of the deals that they had signed. You know what I'm saying? And being locked into 3-4 album deals where they're basically, taking everything from you. Whereas on the independent side, you were able to put out the music you wanted to, when you wanted to, how you wanted to. You were able to get the merchandise that you wanted on your own when you wanted to, when you needed to. You were able to, tour when you wanted to, when you needed to. And it just became being the captain of your own ship. You take a lot of pride in that, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I've learned a lot since I first started. There were many, many pitfalls. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more annoying. But I think what you're seeing right now is that mentality applied tenfold. There are so many artists out here that they're already rich. They're already, successful. They're already good at what they're doing before these guys even come asking them to sign. And sometimes they don't even do it. You know what I mean? So that was the blueprint. I feel like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, that independent mindset really paved the way for, they call them SoundCloud rappers, but these are guys that are taking their destiny in their own hands. They're learning the business, and they're making way more money than they would if they would sign a shitty label deal, which is why you see so many major labels basically folding right underneath us. You know what I mean? Half of them are done. So, but no, I didn't want that. I watched MTV Cribs, you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted all that, man. I wanted all that, but I learned, and sometimes it's still a bitter pill to swallow, because obviously you see artists that, I'm gonna tell y'all something that I learned later in life that I'll throw out here that you can keep. Deserve don't got shit to do with nothing. You don't deserve anything. You get what you get. Sometimes you get everything that you work for, and sometimes you work your ass off and you don't get what you think you should have out of it. That's life. You gotta roll with the punches and keep it moving. If you sit around thinking about what you should have had or what you deserved, you won't move forward. So there were definitely nights where I would be beating myself up saying, man, why don't I? No such thing as a life better than yours. None. So if you are able to do anything with your passion, whether it be, rocking for 30,000 people or rocking for 30. Somebody came to see you. Somebody supported you. Somebody was happy to hear what you had to say. And if you don't take that and be happy with it and respect it, you're an ungrateful piece of shit. And that's just how I feel. Not you, not even you. I'm saying like in general, you know what I'm saying? If you're not able to say, somebody came and bought my CD. Someone came and saw me perform. Someone came up to me and said, hey man, this song helped me get through a hard time. Like, you have to be happy with what, you know, what you're given. So, but yeah, nah, I definitely wanted the millions, but we're all right, we're doing all right. What's up, brother?
I was wondering if you could make like a comment on like coming out of Philly, because a lot of rappers that are from Philly that like made it or didn't became successful. They say that it's a very hard scene to get out of and hard
Right.
to, you know, get into.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it's always been the idea that New York is much harder, but compared to us, boy, whoo, man, Philly is and I don't know where most of you are from, but if you ever decide to try to do anything in music or art, if you want to know if you're any good at all, I would say come to Philadelphia and hang around for a while, because we are a brutally honest city, almost rudely honest, I would say. Almost cruel, horrible people. I could go on, but not a lot of good people there. No, I'm just kidding. There's some good people there. But for me, it was fight school, man. It was. I had to scratch, claw, and grind, man. And the thing that you have to understand about Philly more so than anything is that a lot of the guys that are considered the best in Philly, successful in Philly, they never got to leave. There are some guys that I have, Macho tell you that we've known forever that are incredibly dope, but they thought the mentality that he was talking about with the getting signed and if you're not on Power 99 every night, and we took the indie route, that was our way out. But it is the hardest place, I would say, for a rapper, because there's so many of them, and they are so hungry. But if you are any good, you can climb out of that as long as you stay focused and stay away from the crabs in the barrel mentality, because you get what you give, man. If you show love, you'll have much more love given. And that's the thing that I think that I learned early on, because a lot of these guys, they had so much bitterness, and the vibe was so negative, and you come in the room and whereas the people that were more like, yo, you're dope, come here, let's work. Those are the people that were able to maneuver. Relationships are everything in every business. I don't care how good you are or whatever. If you don't have the proper relationships, if people see you coming and they go, not this dude again, you know what I'm saying? If they see you coming and they frown, you're in trouble. They see you coming and they smile, you're in a good position. And I tried to be the guy that when you saw me coming, you smile. So you will want to help, you will want to support. And I feel like that's the only way to really maneuver in a city like Philadelphia. You get more flies with honey or whatever that is. Is it vinegar? Something stupid. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so that's my advice to anybody. If you're gonna do it, grind, work, but also be humble and be positive, man. Be positive about it, you know?
So what should I make this class listen to? I mean, the history of hip hop, the important albums, the important artists, what would you make them listen to?
Right now, at this point in time, in this point in period, I would definitely say some Public Enemy, but there's a record that came out right during the Bush 9/11 years by a group called Dead Prez. It's called Let's Get Free. It is probably my favorite hip hop album ever, besides Illmatic, which is, I'm sure you made them. All right, yeah, of course, man. I would say Let's Get Free right now. Relevant to the times, relevant to the emotions that a lot of people are probably feeling. That would be the album that I would say first. As far as the classics goes, I mean, you know, I'm always partial to Kane. Kane is number one. Cool G Rap, any of his records. And then for some Philly flavor, throwing some Cool C, some Steady B.
I haven't thrown it.
You ever know Cool C?
No.
Cool C and Steady B, incredible MCs from Philly. Things didn't work out for them, and they tried to rob a bank, and now they're on death row. See, life is about choices. Choices. It all comes full circle is what I was saying. Be negative, things can go wrong. But yeah, Cool C, Steady B,
Yeah.
for sure. Yes.
So what do you think of the rappers today compared to back then? Do you still consider it rap still?
I do. I've never subscribed to that idea that, you know, the mumble rap, we had that too. We had the goofy guys. We had the the party guys. We had all that. I do think that, in my opinion, the difference is it was more a balance of what was shown on the big screen, if that makes sense. The intelligent, more conscientious, more introspective stuff was their videos would play right after the party guy stuff. And I feel like right now the only problem is that stuff is being pushed and the other stuff is kind of like more fringe. You'll see it, it'll pop up, but you know, the guys that I named earlier, the Kendricks, the Coles, the Joeys, there's tons of MCs that are just like that, and I want to see them get the same shine as the, you know, I don't even want to start naming people because I'll sound like a real old man. I already said to y'all I'm old. I don't want to start naming people because I'll start making names up. So yeah, that's the only difference, and that's not anybody's fault. That's the powers that be. That's not their fault. They can't help that their stuff is pushed a little bit more. So yeah, that's the only difference. But there's some dope MCs out there, and there's some, like I said before, my favorite thing about it is that they're taking control. They run their own show, and they didn't have to wait or ask. We're in a position now where you could throw up, you know, a couple songs on your social media, on your SoundCloud, whatever, and go from there. And that to me is the most beautiful thing about it. So that's the only difference for me. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Were you a fan or friend of Sean Price before he passed?
Yeah, man, that guy. Sean Price was on my first single. Me and Kamachi were on a label called Good Hands through Eastern Conference Records, which was independent label back in 2003 to 2010, 11-ish. He, I'm about to get emotional in here, man. He was a great guy, and he came to the studio at in New York, DJ Mighty Mi's house. Of course, he got the money for the song first. He laid it down, and he was hilarious. He was funny, and I found out like a year later that he used that same verse that he put on my record on like 6 other records. But that was Sean Price, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got by Sean Price. You can't really be mad. You know what I'm saying? But a genuinely funny dude, a terror if you got on his bad side. But he was a good man, and he is one of the people alongside our brother Pumpkinhead, our brother Jay Arch. It was like 3 of these guys that we all knew growing up doing music together that all passed like back to back to back, and it was a reminder that as we get older, we need to take better care of our bodies and our health, and it also reminds you that this grind, this life, is not as important as your family, because Sean worked a lot, but he partied a lot too. He had a lot of fun, but sometimes that fun can deteriorate your body a little bit faster. But that was a good guy, man, and his music is incredible. It's simple, but it's just like, it's poetic, man. It's poetry. I mean, it's poetry about punching you in the face, but who's to say that's not poetry? But yeah, he was on my first single. So I'll never forget him blessing me with that. And yeah, he was a good dude. That was a great question. Thank you for that. Yeah, man. You look like you ready. Did I do something wrong? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
Everybody look at it today.
Huh?
Everybody look at it like this.
I'm sorry. All right. Well, yes.
So I grew up in Philly. Do you ever like feel that being from Philly like affected your life in any way? Like coming to school in New Jersey, I remember like telling people that I was from Northeast Philly, and they're like, "Oh, dude, like you're from Philly, like get out of here."
Right.
Like,
Right.
has it ever affected like your professional life?
There's a stigma, definitely,
Yeah.
that we are, and you know, it's I hate to say it, but it's not that far off. But we're you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're a little bit more abrasive. We're a little bit more aggressive. We're a little bit more blunt. And I think if you're not used to that, it can be off-putting to some people. So it definitely had, and also in this industry, at least when we first started, and it's another thing that I keep going back to about the newer generation, about those walls kind of being kicked down, as far as where you're from. New York, Atlanta, LA was pretty much, you know, those relationships were built, a lot of artists were built there. So if you weren't there, I had people telling me my whole life, yo, you need to move to New York. And I was like, New York, man. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, no disrespect, but I was just like, I like New York's cool, but I'm from Philly, and I didn't want to feel like I had to, why, nobody else felt like they had to leave where they were from to make it. Why do I have to leave? Obviously, I had to leave physically to go and tour and things like that, but when I'm done, and I'm coming across that bridge, and I'm seeing my city all lit up, like, that gives me pride. And I will defend that place until I die, man. Like, I love being from that city, but it definitely, in this industry, when I was coming up, if you didn't spend a lot of time in either, New York, Atlanta, LA, it was really hard to have certain relationships because it is so insular, and these are places where all the labels were at, all the record execs were at, so they would work in the studio, and they'd go to a party, and they'd all be together, and this is how things work in this world. It's not, more deals are done on the golf course, which is why you see somebody on the golf course every day, but more deals are done on the golf course than they are in the boardroom, you know what I mean? So, but I love being from it, and you should too.
I do.
Yeah. Good.
So did you see hip hop making any strides against misogyny and homophobia?
Never, unfortunately.
Never.
Nah,
It's
never.
not gonna happen.
Nah, I think, I keep going back to y'all. More so y'all than us. And if that's going to change, it's going to be this generation that does it. I don't see the older guys doing that. I think that, the perfect example is what's the dude that wore the Tekken hat and the dress on his cover? He looked like an umbrella.
Oh.
Yeah, Thug. When that cover came out, right? When that album cover came out, I thought I was in a movie or something, because the reaction to a guy wearing a dress or whatever it was, you would have thought that he shot a baby or something in the face. Like, it's his own personal style. Who gives a shit? But guys from my generation, man, and they forget about the fact that there was groups in the 80s that were rocking skin tight leather cowboy boots and shit like that. Melly Mel and all them walking around half naked. If you don't know who Melly Mel is, he's a great MC, but guy dressed pretty fucking outrageous. So look him up. He's pretty great. There's a song called "The Message" you all should hear and know. But I do not feel like that's something that will change in my generation's opinion, but I feel like it already has in theirs. So, which is a great thing. I feel like that type of stuff is less and less cared about. There are Frida and Cakes the Killer. There's all types of MCs that are gay or trans, and they are killing it. And they have their own crowd. They have their own niche. You got guys like Lil B, Tiny Pants Mob. That's not my thing. Good for him though. And the fact that there are people out there that identify with it and want to rock with it. So yeah, definitely. Good question, Nick. Yeah. Anybody else?
Other questions?
All right. Yes.
How's your experience with touring? Do you like it? Do you not?
It's terrible. It's terrible. There's an idea that it's the show. The show, and maybe 2 hours after the show, when you're selling merch and signing things, and people are taking pictures, and you're the best guy in the world. And then, our touring, independent artist touring, is a lot different than touring that you may see on TV. Guys that are touring on TV, man, they got they're staying in they got the bus with the TV. With us, there's 6 of us in a van. Everybody stinks. Everyone's miserable. You're going to some I can't tell you how many times we've pulled up to our hotel and been get the promoter on the phone. What is this? This is the Amityville Horror. I'm not staying here. Why would you do this to me? I'd rather sleep on the floor. So, and it's also the as I get older and I have a family now, I'm very close to my children. I guess I should I'm very close to my girl too. That sounded terrible. I love my family. like she doesn't live there. So I'm very close to my kids. Very close to my family. So there's that balance of the moment you're gone, you can't wait to get back, and the moment you're back, you can't wait to go again. Because it's what you do. It's what you know. So I wouldn't say I hate it. I hate the getting there. If there was a way to snap a finger and you're at the venue doing sound check, cool. But those 10-hour drives through the night, the shitty hotels, dealing with promoters that are you know what I'm saying? You're literally chasing them through the jungle to get your little bit of money. So that stuff. It makes for good stories, but other than that, I think everyone should get to do it, experience it once. Even if you don't tour, I think everyone should be able to travel the country in different places just to see and experience. Then those experiences and the friendships I've made over the years. There's people that I consider my brother from other countries and places that I would have never met if I hadn't toured and done hip hop. So for that, it's definitely positive. Everything else can kick rocks.
What is the hip hop scene like in Europe right now? I know you're just over there.
Europe's nuts, man. They're very true school. They're still a little bit behind us, so like they're not as open-minded, I think, to more of the newer stuff. They're still very boom bap, but it's great for guys like me and guys from the '90s because we can still go over there and get money. You know what I mean? So we're hoping it doesn't run out anytime soon. Like keep that up, But they're still they're like 10 years behind with the fashion, so they're like walking up with like Timbs and a do-rag, like, yo, what this up, my guy? The real fucking hip hop, my nigga. You're like, whoa. So, but hey man, they show love and they wild out. That's one thing I will give them. Their crowds, like you get a little scared, like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of aggression. They just like to beat each other up. I don't know. It's weird. Like this is my song. So that's Europe in a nutshell. But it's dope. It's dope. Yeah, I mean, it's basically Europe and like certain spots in like Cali and stuff for independent artists. That's really our bread and butter. You know what I mean? So.
Wow.
Anybody else? Yes, you.
You have to work with Beanie City?
I actually have worked with Beanie twice. Once we were on a song via somebody else, and then we just did a show in Philly about 2 months ago. It was his first show in Philly in like, 2 years. He sounded great. The last time he had performed, people were saying he sounded different because he got shot, but he sounded great. Freeway is a brother of mine. All those guys. I mean, it's a small city. He's more elusive because he's Beanie. He's like the boogeyman. He pops up and then he disappears. But he put on a great show. He was super polite, super nice, and I'm rooting for him. He's an idol of mine, obviously. All the top dogs in Philly, the Black Thoughts, all those guys. Me, I root for all of them. Like I want my city to win. So I'm proud of all the things that those guys have done and continue to do because without them, there would be no platform for me. So yeah, Beans is the man for sure. What's up, brother?
How do you feel that the fact that auto-tune has become so prevalent? It's been a major meta within hip hop in itself, and a lot more artists are navigating towards not the bar for bar, but more of singing.
Right.
How do you think that is impacting the culture? What do you?
Youth culture, man. The culture morphs. It adapts. It changes. Right now, that's the wave. The auto-tune, sing-songy style. I think, you can trace that stuff back to, obviously 808s and Heartbreak and Drake's, you know what I'm saying? What?
With Ja Rule too? He was trying to do the same.
Ja Rule was doing the singing, but he sang though, man. Ja didn't use auto-tune. They just was singing. Ja didn't use auto-tune. Ja knew he couldn't sing, but he still did it. And I respect that way more. I respect that so much more than the auto-tune. I feel like that's cheating because I love singing. I love a dope soulful voice. I'm from Philly, sound of Philadelphia. Like we had Teddy P, like the real soul singers. So that auto-tune stuff, that's not really my bag. But again, that's not for me. That's the new generation. That's how they express themselves. I will say that I think it's starting to think I get a little overdone a little bit. I think every other song you have a guy singing on there. But if it's done mildly here and there, I don't mind it. You know what I mean? If you're having fun with it, why not? But when every single song has it, it's like, all right, man, let's, you know what I mean? But I feel like the best singers are guys that, really can't sing, like Ja. Like Ja couldn't sing for shit, but it was great. Whenever that stuff comes on the radio, you still sing along to it, you know what I mean? So, what's up?
You said you like all different genres. How'd you like Cuddy's Speeding Gold to Heaven?
What is that? Oh, Cuddy. I was like, what is going on? I thought he was about to kill me. Like, I didn't know what was happening. Nah. I have not heard that. I do like Man on the Moon 1 and is it 3? 1 through 3 or is it just 1? 2. Man, the Legend of the Rager or whatever. Yeah. I like Cuddy. Cuddy's the perfect example. He can't sing, but he sings. I respect that. He doesn't auto-tune it. He's just like,
All out.
he plays the guitar the whole album. I'm gonna get mad high and listen to that tonight. I'm gonna check that out. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna exchange your info. I'm gonna text you and let you know how I think. What's up, brother?
What is your thought about the female rappers of today opposed to the female MCs back then?
I think that I think it's finally getting to a point now where it's like, yeah, she's a girl and she's dope. Like, why? Why is it still a thing? I hate the term femc. I hate that. Like, Rhapsody's record, for those who haven't heard, is one of the best rap records to come out this year, maybe in 5 years, really. And she's still, every interview I've watched with her, there's like, as a female rapper, she's a rapper, man. She's dope. And I think that that's something that, you know, I thought by now we would be past, but I'm hoping that we get there at some point, because if you're dope, you're dope, and that's it. It doesn't matter what you look like, who you are, what your body, you know, your gender, your sex, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a great time for MCs, period. And I think the women in rap, women have always been the backbone of everything in every culture, society, art, whatever. They are the backbone. It starts and ends with them. And until we get that shit through our head, until we finally stop thinking that it's the other way around, that we, like, women will crush us into dust, and yet we still treat them like they're beneath us. And I'll never understand it. Y'all control that. Y'all are the ones that run the world. So I honestly am tired of having to debate if a girl is dope. Does that mean that, no, if she's dope, and that's it, and that's period. So yeah, shout out to, you know, I think Rhapsody's incredible. I love Nicki. You know what I'm saying? Cardi, what she's doing right now. Cardi's the American dream. You know what I'm saying? From fucking shit to sugar in the blink of an eye. You know what I'm saying? It can happen to anybody out here hating. Don't hate on that girl. Respect it. You know what I'm saying? So, for real. BX. So, good question. Anybody else?
Any last questions for Reef?
We gotta hear you spit something now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's gonna be a job.
I didn't plant that question.
Oh man. Let me think. What should I rap about? I'm trying to think if I should go older or newer.
Go older.
Go older?
Yeah. Get back to the roots.
Back to the roots.
Get back to the roots.
This is a song about where I come from. Welcome to the home of brotherly love, brothers covered in blood. The mayor's office is covered in bugs. The youth dreams cut short, swept under the rug. Love for self is outweighed by the love for the drugs. It's go Eagles, Mike Vick, fuck T.O. We ain't hard to find, homie, just follow the weed smoke. See, we eat rolls and grease beef soap, overweight and evil. A city of justice unequal. The shadow in New York we still under. So we try to kill him every summer, walk a little tougher. Guns busting how we chose to fight. Where you could go from being a star to a scumbag overnight. Streets often deserted on the coldest nights. Old heads drinking Thunderbird, show you right. Cops don't ask if you know your rights. Hopeless hype, smoking pipes, pavement gamblers, rolling dice. A short sentence describe your whole life. Low expectancy, at a low life for a low life. The mind of many here shine so bright. But they could give a fuck cause in their houses no lights. Everybody rhyme and they claim they don't write. It down, sit down, take it all in. Civilization, this is where it all ends. The city I call kin, yo. So take caution, the sound of Philadelphia. Gunshots and gritty beats. Come along with me, hear my city speak. It's talking to you, it's giving you a heads up. It's saying that people round here getting fed up. The sound of Philadelphia. Gunshots and gritty beats. Come along with me, hear my city speak. And that's all I got. Thank y'all so much for your time. Me at Lost Cause on pretty much all platforms. And yeah, I appreciate y'all so much for listening to me. I didn't write nothing down, I just came here and just talked from the heart. I hope I wasn't too weird and creepy. You guys are like, this guy was in here just screaming about the future. Like, you know what I'm saying? So thank y'all very much. Appreciate y'all time. All right?